Hi, my name is Kate Kingston, and I own a company here in New York City called the Kingston Training Group. And I wanted to help your dealership today have a better understanding of how to increase the results of foot canvassing or cold calling on foot, as that is one of the delivery systems for prospecting. You have phone calling, you have emailing, certainly using social media networking, but also on foot. So I prepared a little presentation for you to show to your sales teams and sales managers to help up those odds of more net new qualified meetings on foot. So this would be an example of a KTG training to a dealership to increase those results. So a lot of people call prospecting on foot cold calling, or the phone call cold calling. At the Kingston Training Group, we don't call it that because we want people to think about it more strategically. So cold is walking in, hey, I don't know anybody. Who sells and takes care of your copiers? That's not where 2024 and beyond is going in terms of prospecting for an executive in technology. So we want to make the cold call work, or the prospecting on foot work. So there's plans that have to be put in place to create repeatable processes for success. What if you were actually going to start your strategic foot canvassing by emailing the week before? Instead of just walking in and paying attention to the interactions with the receptionist, why don't we use her or him in our favor? The only people that really make money dropping off business cards or cards in general is the mailman. We need to come in with a plan. So I believe at the Kingston Training Group that a sales executives and technologies work week needs to start on a Friday afternoon, because on Fridays you're preparing to run for next week. I watched a very interesting 2020 special on outliers. I watch them, whenever they have the best in the world at something. And one of them was Mike Tyson. This was about 20 years ago. And they were like, champ, when do you start your business day? Like, what's your routine? And he goes, well, I get up at 4:30 in the morning. And they go, what? Your matches are at night. Why do you get up so early? And he goes, oh, because I'm running at 5 a.m. And they go, why are you running at 5 a.m.? He goes, oh, because my competition runs at 6 a.m. Here's a fella with, I think, an 8th grade education. But if you've ever really listened to Mike Tyson talk, he's actually really, really smart. He just is a boxer. And so he knew instinctively that you have to be first. And so I believe, and the Kingston Training Group trains on being first. So we put our calendars together. And this was literally my calendar that I did, from last year. And I still live to that. I schedule everything in. That's how you run a 6-figure plus career. So we're going to map out our foot canvassing into next week's calendar this week, because we want to be able to follow up with that door knock within 12 hours of walking in that door. So if we're foot canvassing in the morning, we'd want to schedule 4 to 5 in our calendar next week on that Thursday, for example, to do those follow-up phone calls for decision makers we didn't talk to. If we're prospecting in the afternoon on foot, we want to have like an 8 to 9:30 in the morning follow-ups for all the doors we knocked yesterday. I believe that some sales executives churn and burn their foot canvassing. I'm going to go out and collect 40 cards. I think that that's the wrong approach, because if you don't follow up, listen to the difference. John, hi, my name is Kate Kingston. I was in your office last weekend. Pretty much you weren't important enough for me to call, is what you're saying by saying that. Or listen to the difference. John, my name is Kate Kingston. I stopped by Allegheny Industries this morning around 10:30. I spoke to Hillary at your front desk, and sir, I was not going to let the business day end without calling you back. You've already created inertia and momentum just by being able to call back within 12 hours. They say that time kills deals. Well, it also kills the deal or the sale of the net new meeting. So next week, I'm prospecting on Thursdays. I'm going to schedule in the follow-up phone call time. So I'm going to identify who I want to foot canvas to. I can use things like Google Maps to map that out. I'm sure you know how to use Google Maps. What you do is you just type in, like, businesses on whatever street in whatever city that you plan on going to. And obviously, for prospecting and best use of time management, you'd want to foot canvas around meetings that you already have, no doubt. So you type in the business, and when you push enter, just like this, it's going to give you a couple other businesses, and then you just click on more places, and it gives you a whole list of them. Accurate Home Medical Equipment is going to be one that I'm using. It's a small 2-location business, but our territories quite often are not made of giant companies, but they still have technology needs for all our solution suites. If you do click on more places, I'll remind you that you would maybe want to do a cross street of Westwood Road and Westlake Avenue so that you could actually walk to a couple of those places without having to move your car. So got a bunch to go after. I use at Kingston Training Group Zoom Info, and I do have the subscription that I'm allowed to give the list out to the dealerships that I work with. But if you don't have it, you can just use Google Maps to find folks too. So now we've identified places that we would like to go after. One of the things you want to consider that if you see a building this size and it's not a multi-tenant building, it's a single-tenant building, maybe foot canvassing isn't the right approach. That doesn't mean that if you're in a rural territory and you want to walk in that you shouldn't. But what if you walked in already knowing the decision maker? It's just so much easier. So to find out, I just type in leadership for, and I paste the name of the company in during my research. Or if it's a small company, who owns space dash space, and I type in the name of the company. And the internet technology will be your assistant in quickly finding those people. So Accurate Medical, which is going to be our example this morning, is actually a small company. So I just wrote who owns. The only person I could find in all the things that I did was Gary Dirk. He had a LinkedIn profile, but at least I have Gary's name. So I don't have to actually walk in cold, do I? I can walk in hot and go, Gary Dirk, please. It's just so much easier than starting, baseball analogy, just hitting the ball to first. Why can't I just hit it all the way to second? Gary Dirk didn't even have anything more on his LinkedIn profile from this, not even his longevity or tenure, but he's the vice president. So I got a name. Just so that you know, Zoom Info, if you have that at your dealership, you might want to make sure that you have enacted the connection to LinkedIn because it gives you, information right there. So now I'm walking in cold. You could certainly screenshot this if you wanted for your sales team. I was hoping, I'm going to walk in now. Hi, can I help you? I'm being the receptionist. Yes, hi, I was hoping that you could. I wanted to stop by personally today to see if I might connect with the team or the person who's responsible for ensuring the business technology, the assets and the equipment are meeting compliance for Accurate Medical, efficiency, the cybersecurity protocols. I know that you're in the healthcare industry, so HIPAA would be applicable for any subscriptions that you might get for any of the different types of solutions that you offer, from wheelchairs, stair lifts, etc. And then profitability goals for Accurate Medical. Traditionally, that's someone in IT, could be a finance director or an operations executive. Who would you be connecting me to? Do you see how that's a different conversation than who takes care of the copiers? They're like, well, Millie changes the toner. Do you want Millie? You don't want Millie, so stop asking for her. Help the receptionist by leading her to the point people that you want. But if you already know it's Gary Dirk, you can just walk in and go, Gary Dirk, please. Do you see how that's just easier? Because everything is in the pre-plan. So I pre-plan what I want to talk to them about. I have a vision of what I want to happen during this foot canvas, which I want Gary Dirk to sit down with me right now, or I want him to agree to have me come back to talk to him at another date, or to have Gary Dirk tell me if there's a different point person. There's only 3 choices. Before you walk in the door, before you call, before you email, before you prospect, you want to say to yourself, why would they want to meet with me? What would they use my dealership solutions for? What do I know about their industry? Who is traditionally their buying committee, right? Well, I mean, we know if it's a city, it's probably the city manager. There's certain titles, right? And why should they stop their business day on a Tuesday to meet with me? If it's accurate care medical equipment, and I'm going to be walking in, and I want to go after Gary Dirk, why wouldn't I have that information ready? So, strategic foot canvassing means the week before, I'm going to email or phone call Gary Dirk. If I don't get him live, I leave a message, or I email him going, I want to meet with you. At KTG, we find that it is most effective to ask for the meeting at least 2 weeks out on the 45, like Tuesday the 15th at 9:45, because it connotes that it'll be a 15-minute meeting unless he wants more, which is the truth. And I ask for it at least 2 weeks out, so there's wiggle time, right? So you can do multiple touches to them. And if I'm strategically foot canvassing, what if I printed out a couple pages, right? A couple pages about the company and brought it with me, so that if Gary Dirk came out, I could hold the page up and say, I see that you do this, or I see that you do this, and I was on your LinkedIn and you've been here this long. Those visual cues, first of all, you don't have to memorize the information. It shows that you've put interest and research in, as well as who you would be as an account manager, even before you're hired. And it shows what they would be expecting from you from going forward. So all I did here was screenshot the website page and put it on a little PowerPoint to print it out to make it pretty. That's all. I was like on the website, like, oh, 2 locations. If I screenshot it, then I could say to him, you know, we could support both yours and your Lyndhurst location. I don't have to memorize it. And it shows I did the work. So when I did who owns, I got Gary Dirk. So maybe I'd print out his LinkedIn as well. So I've got a couple pages to talk about. Now you have, if you train with the Kingston Training Group, access to our checklist where I really flesh out everything you need to schedule a decision maker C-level meeting with any of the 60 industries that you want to make meetings with. And in those talk tracks, I was calling to schedule a meeting. It's not like I'm some sort of genius. I would just convert it to I was stopping by to schedule a meeting. So please feel free to screenshot any of these to utilize. Auto dealer. I was stopping by this morning to see if we could look at our calendar. So I'm making it sound like it was on purpose that I was stopping by instead of just calling. Lots of them to look at. Banking, screenshot this one too if you want. If you notice, as I'm building those conversations, I'm talking about how they make money, what they use technology for, how they, you know, why I want them to stop their business day for me right now. And I'm asking for the meeting about 2 weeks out on the 45. I wanted to come by the practice because my firm supports dozens of other practices here in Alabama, like this one and that one, so they can add additional profitability into every patient visit. For example, faster new patient intake, accelerating time to cash with insurance companies, etc. We accomplish this. I tell them how we're going to do that. And that's why I wanted to schedule mine. Would it be possible for us to have a conversation on Tuesday the 15th at 9:45? Unless you have a few moments now, because isn't that the purpose of prospecting on foot, to get them to meet with you now or to confirm that you can come back and meet with them? So I ask for the sale of the meeting. And because I have the visual cues, which I show, you know, medical practice, both of your locations, all 14 of your doctors, whatever I had gleaned from their website and printed out. Screenshot this if you want. Bunch of different talk tracks and email templates for you to utilize. Even more, screenshot. Take these back to your sales teams, or if you're a sales executive, bring this out in the field with you. So, step one, I schedule time in my calendar for next week to prospect on foot strategically around meetings I already have. So I'm using time management, amortizing my time in the field. Step two, I'm going to go send an email the week before to Gary Dirk, if you will, asking him for a meeting 2 weeks out from next Thursday. So I have 2 weeks out from when I would actually be stopping by. At KTG, we provide the emails. We give you over 500 emails when you work with us for every single vertical, but it's not like you can't write one for yourself. Like, with all love, this is a pretty great looking email. Like, screenshot it if you want. This would be for architects. Look in the red. I'm going to be on Walker Street, not in your area. That sounds fake and salesy. I'm going to be on Walker Street next Thursday afternoon, and thought I would take the liberty of stopping by in person to see if we might look at our calendars to identify if Tuesday the 15th at 9:45 might work for us to have a collaborative conversation in your offices on this topic. Or if you prefer, you can say yes to the 15th through email or my contact information below. If not, I look forward to seeing you on Thursday. This is what executives do. I spell out exactly what I'm doing, what my plan is. I will execute on that, showing him I do what I say. And then I also only told him how to say yes. I bang the email now this week. Gonna stop by next Thursday. I have it in my calendar. I print out 2 or 3 pages from the website. I archive that in hard copy in a prospect binder for the car or a folder, whatever you want. So now I walk in. This is how I do it. I'll take it off this for a second. I go like this. Pretend I'm walking in. Yes, hi, my name is Kate Kingston. I'm here to see Gary Dirk. He knew I was stopping by. And I go sit down. Or if it's a reception, I go sort of just stand over there. This body language says I'm supposed to be there. So that's why I do that. And they go, okay. They don't go, does you have a meeting? I said he knew I was stopping by. I could be his niece, like, you know what I mean, or sister. It's not the receptionist's job to figure it out. And my body language, my business swagger will make sure that they don't start giving you the question and answer. Now, if he walks out, I have my 3 printed pages here. Gary, hi, my name is Kate Kingston. I wanted to stop by Accurate Medical. You can have discovery questions as well, ready to go. I wanted to stop by Accurate Medical. I was on your website. I saw that you can also shop online. So I know that when we here at Kingston Technologies works with other medical rental companies or maybe hundreds of doctors and physicians' offices that probably send you prescriptions for your wheelchairs, your stair lifts, your et cetera, all the different things that they sell. And maybe inventory management of these projects or instruction booklets that you might be printing out for how to use those stair climbers for their family members, as well as scheduling delivery of those, getting monthly payments for the rentals of those. All of that is technology touched. And what we do at Kingston Technologies that makes that faster, more cyber secure, and more profitable. And that's why I wanted to stop by. I mentioned that in my email to you last Tuesday, that maybe Tuesday the 15th at 9:45 might work for us to continue a conversation on this topic, and maybe also share with you some technology best practices and look at your environment. Unless, of course, you had a few moments now. And then I have some discovery questions ready to go in their language. And then I'm either going to be invited back or he's going to give me some countertop information. Do you notice how I didn't say the word copier? But I did. I didn't say managed IT, but I did. I said it in the language of the customer. That's what they speak. You're like, yeah, but Kate, sometimes he doesn't come out. The receptionist goes, Gary's out today. I go, oh, great. I have his phone number and an email. I will reach back out to him tomorrow. But let me ask you. And I literally pitched the receptionist with the same information. You know why? Because the rest of your colleagues or competitors in the industry are going out on good looking charms. Then, oh, it's cold today, huh? Oh, I love blue. That's my favorite color. Bunch of nonsense. You go in and you show the research you did. You will separate yourself from 99.9% of other foot canvassers. And I mean, isn't that what we're trying to do? We're trying to separate ourselves from our competition in every interaction to get the meeting, in the meeting, and to continue to have them as a customer. So now, if he doesn't come out, I'm gonna leave my card. I want to follow up with him or her within 12 hours because I've scheduled it already the week before in the pre-plan. Good afternoon, John. My name is Kate Kingston. I was in your office this morning at about 10:30. I spoke to Hillary at your front desk, and sir, I was just not going to let the business stay in without calling you back. If it's the morning, it's not. Good morning, John. My name is Kate Kingston. I was in your office yesterday afternoon about 3:30, and I spoke actually with Hillary at your front desk, and I wasn't going to let the business day start without giving you a call this morning. I had shared with her that I always think it's better to get a prospect here. And I was sharing with her that instead of coming at them like this. Now, if they meet with you, obviously you want to throw a thank you note. Nobody says that you're not supposed to get a little handwritten note the next day and mail it. Thanks, looking forward to next step. Sure, okay, good. But what if you did this? What if you took the discovery questions, and at KTG, we have them for all 60 industries, already created for every selling solution covered, and you bang it into a thank you note. Yeah, I know, it's great, right? You actually print out the thank you note before you go to the meeting, and you take your notes in the thank you note. So that when you're in the meeting, you've got the vertical discovery questions handling all the pivots to just figure out what assessments and demos, because demos and assessments sell, what you can do for those to ensure that you have, those opportunities created. And then when you get back to your office, you can just answer them, type those answers in, and bang, within 12 hours, this salient executive summary of what you said and what he said and what you planned on together for the next steps. I would say nobody really is doing this kind of level on a regular basis from a foot canvassing operations. So that's why I want you to try that. Prospecting on foot can be impactful if you prepare ahead of time and find your point people. Do a little research and print those sheets out. I have found value of putting it right. Like when I type this screen, this little one, I just type the words and then designer. I'm just going to show you just so you know what I mean. Look at designer. Designer gives you all these different choices of how to do it. Maybe I wanted it to look like this. Maybe I want it to look like this. And then I literally print that out to the customer. So it looks great, not just your scribbles, right? And that way it will look very strong for you when you're delivering that. Email the week before. Walk in ready to have that meeting with your discovery questions. And because you've already pre-planned that follow-up time for thank you notes, as well as follow-up callbacks, you create momentum with your prospects. Strategic foot canvassing is what executives do. Decide if you're a sales rep or an executive. I'm sure you're going to pick executive, and go after your foot canvassing with this strategic plan, and you will make more meetings and you'll make more money. Thank you for coming to the Consortium University, and please check out all the other videos from all the other members that are just here to help you build your business. Oh, and if you'd like to learn more, please feel free to reach out to me, Kate Kingston, at the Kingston Training Group.